Hi, I'm Emily Vale, and welcome to Behind the Bookshelf. Today, I'm joined by D.W. Brooks, author, physician, and kidney transplant survivor. She wrote the Meet Your Match series, and book 2 just came out this March 2026. Being an author was an early dream pushed aside by practical thoughts and fears for DW. A health crisis awakened the desire to write again and the ability to self-publish. She could see a path to getting words and stories out of her head and into a bound book others could read and hopefully enjoy. Today, we'll be talking all about that, her journey, and what's coming in the future. Hi, DW. Thanks again for joining me. I'm excited to get to talk to you today.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah, of course. So, we're here to talk about the Meet Your Match series. And correct me if I'm wrong, this is a series, right? There are different stories in their own right, but instead of me talking about it, why don't you tell us about that? Tell us what the Meet Your Match series is about and give us a brief synopsis of it.
Okay, it's a series, it's a contemporary romance series of basically it's a friend and family group. The group actually started with three people who knew each other in medical school. And as time went on, people got married or they brought in other people in the group. So this is basically at the end of it, it's going to be 5 stories of people in and around that group who are looking for their happily ever afters. And most of the people will be 40 plus. There is one story that's going to have people in their 30s, but it's such a cute idea. I'm going to have to let it ride. I have to
Yeah.
let it go. But yeah, so it's been fun writing the stories and I think it's cool because since they are friends and family, they pop up in each other's books.
Hmm.
You get to hear about what's happening to the person who was in the first book or in the second book because they show up again, somebody's having a party or having a get together or they're getting in a fight or what have you. They all show up again.
I love that. I have not read too much contemporary romance. I've read, which it's not really contemporary, but so the Ruinous Love trilogy, and I've mentioned it before in other podcast episodes. Butcher and Blackbird, Leather and Lark. They do
Uh-huh.
that same thing where it's a friend group, and I really love
Hmm.
that because in the Meet Your Match series, people who really love the first book, they're able to exist in that universe for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love being able to have that continuation of characters. Is that something to your knowledge that is, I wouldn't say common, but is that a thing that takes place in the romance genre?
Um, It does. I think it does in, like you said, not super common, but it happens a lot when you're writing a series
Mhm.
because most of the time there's some kind of connection, even though each story may be separate and standalone. There's usually some kind of connection in the series, whether they're from the same town or the same family. So you end up seeing or hearing about things that you heard about in earlier stories.
Yeah. Yeah,
So yeah, it's kind of fun.
to that point, there's, yeah, different ways to write series instead of the same characters like we see in these high fantasy series where
Yeah.
you're just go on their incredible journey. We have series like this where we've got, some other characters in the mix. So I really like that. It's fresh. I don't read a lot of romance, like I said, and I don't write
Mhm.
romance. So anytime I get to talk to a romance author, I always have a lot of questions.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm working on book 3 in the series, and I have decided to make a mess of the timeline because currently each book ends right before the book before, I mean, begins right before the book in front of it ends.
Oh, cool.
Um,
A really good
so
hook. Yeah.
yeah, so, you may not you read one book and then you start reading the next book and you'll see, "Oh, this is, like, right before the epilogue," or, "This is going on during the epilogue." Okay, I get it. So I'm kind of but for the last 3, the timelines are gonna be kind of tied up because I was working on one and I actually had to remember to mention something specific that's actually going to happen in the next book, which
Mhm.
is happening almost simultaneously with book 3. So I'm sitting there saying, "Oh yeah, this is when this is supposed to happen." I have to remember to
Yeah.
reference it even though it hasn't been written yet.
And some of these, their individual love story in your or their story period can concede, but it sounds like in yours it's a continuation. So if somebody reads the first book, they're almost torturing themselves if they don't continue to read every one.
Yeah, because like I said, the couple in the first book, I just wrote a whole I mean, they're involved in book 3, as is the couple in book 2. They're involved in book 3 as well.
Yeah,
So,
and I wanna talk about something that you mentioned is they're in their 40s and you have 30s. This wasn't on the list of questions that I sent you, but, what
that's
made
okay.
you, want to write people of that age range?
'Cause of me.
Mhm.
I'm actually older than the 40s, so, um, I didn't really wanna write about my particular age range, but, I wanted to for me, I could better follow, imitate, understand people in their 40s as opposed to people in their 20s. Just for me, that seems like it was so, so, so long ago. I don't know if I could actually do justice to what a 20-year-old be going through. And also, when I was 20, I mean, I was dating, thought I was in love, but most of that decade, I was not, not married, I mean, I wasn't married or engaged or anything. So, being a 20-year-old looking for the future, I was worried about finishing school and stuff. So,
Mhm.
um, I wanted to aim for an age range where that was actually something that I was concerned with or interested in or something that was going on in my life. And also, I wanted to be able to write about people who have probably already loved and lost
Mhm.
and how that may actually impact them moving forward. They meet the perfect guy, but that guy does something that reminds them of what their previous husband or fiance or what did and what that can actually do to the relationship. So I just wanted to take a slightly different bent on it.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and like you said, it kind of it allows you to write a more seasoned character that has more experience, and in my opinion, is a little bit more dynamic. And so, with that being said, you seem to write strong female leads who know who they are, and you said you do like to write that type of character when we speak to the age range, but what leads you to write the type of character that is a strong female lead knowing who they are?
Well, sometimes you wonder if they actually do know who they are.
Mhm.
They have their moments where they're just like, I am 40 years old and my love life sucks. I don't understand why. It's just a mess. And what did I do to deserve this? So, um, most all of my female characters, even in my other series, the main female characters are all doctors. So
Mhm.
that gives a little bit of gravitas. I've had people read and, they would say, well, why? They're doctors. Why are they so messy? And I was just like,
They're people.
you not know any doctors? And and then they were also like, and they're 40. I don't understand what I was like. Do you not know any 40-year-olds? They're just as capable of making big messes of their lives and not knowing, making angry choices that they shouldn't make just as
Yeah.
much as a 20-year-old is. I mean,
Yeah.
they may know better, but that doesn't mean they won't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think there's this certain, like, assumed archetype of, like, "Oh, a doctor, so they're, like, so professional," and but you're humanizing them, too. You're
Yeah.
humanizing a strong woman in a successful career position. Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, they like I said, they kind of make messes and do things they have to apologize for and have to talk it out like, I just did something really stupid. I can't believe I did that." So, yeah, they're all ranges. I'm a doctor by training, and they're people come in all shapes and sizes in medical school. I mean, they're all smart, but personality, et cetera, so on. It's all different.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna ask because I know a lot of authors write what they know. So, can you share, without maybe sharing too much, your, experience as a doctor by trade influencing, the way that you implemented that into your stories?
I was an ophthalmologist, so none of my characters are that. So I try to have some. time in the office for, um well, for some of them, not all of them, but some they have some time in the office where they actually have patients. They talk to the patients, or they are in the office talking to their office staff while they get a phone call from the guy and trying to figure things out. But so I try to incorporate that, and I also, in this like in the one I'm writing now, I had to go and talk to, um, one of my daughter's doctors to kind of refresh my memory and make sure I wasn't making up something like, "Okay, this is how I think this particular health issue works. Can you make
Right.
sure I'm not making it up?" Make sure I, because it wasn't my specialty, but I'm just like, I think I knew how this worked." And you look it up and you say, "Well, I'm just gonna ask." Um, so I like to use that, and just because they're doctors, so they all are at least financially stable at this point. So at least in this group of characters, I'm sure I will write some moving forward that, not having to worry about money may be more of an issue, but these particular characters, that's not an issue. So
Right.
we're really focusing on their personal life. And since they're in their 40s, some of them already have children. So, how they incorporate their children into their dating lives as well.
hmm And that, yeah, realistically, people in their 40s, they are usually have children by that age. So I love that you're grounding it and giving them children instead of making it, uh, I don't know any other word to say, but like not so grounded and just making them childless because I feel like a lot of books we just see so many childless characters.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the female lead in the book I'm working on right now starts out childless. Let's just put it that way.
okay.
So,
S-
and so she may not end that way. How about that?
yeah, a good teaser. So, The Match Game, book two of the series, came out this year in March, and
Mm.
it's said to be about the complexity of building love when you're wise enough to demand honesty, even when it hurts. I've seen so many romance books where characters battle with the things that they don't want to accept in their love interest or accepting those parts against their better judgment. So, how would you define the particular romance here in The Match Game?
Um, the main issue with the couples and the couple in the romance game was really a lie of omission. Um, and both of them actually were lying to each other to varying degrees. Uh, in the grand scheme of things, the lies weren't, I mean, her lie really didn't, because they weren't committed per se. So her lie really didn't mean a whole lot. His did, in that it put him in a slightly more advantageous position to know more about her than she knew he knew. And also, it was something that really, like I said before, really felt like something that her ex husband did to her.
Mm-hmm.
So it, she had to figure out whether that particular lie was a character flaw, or if that was in something that she couldn't live with, or if that was something that was a weird occurrence that, he really, I mean, it was an odd situation. He could have just told her up front they probably wouldn't have dated at all. And that's why he didn't say anything. But he started thinking he should tell her, but then he was like, then I look like a creeper. I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
to do about this. So, um, she had to figure out if this was a lie that meant that he would always lie and hide things from her, or if he just felt like he was in a really odd position. And, like I said, she was lying too. So she had to decide if
Yeah.
that was something she could just put over to the side and let them kind of just work forward from there. They went to therapy. So
Oh,
to kind
good.
yeah, they went to therapy to kind of to decide how, because they also needed to learn how to fight,
Yeah.
because they got into a huge argument when everything came out, and they were really, really harsh with each other.
Yeah.
And they needed to learn. I mean, because I was actually writing and I was like, I don't
They need some
know. Are they gonna be able to
therapy.
fix this? Yeah. Oh my god, are they gonna be able to get back together after this? This is really hard.
That is
And some
a
people said that. They were like, I was wondering how you're gonna get them back together because that was pretty mean.
that is
So
such a
yeah.
good writing tip. It's like, hey, if you're writing romance and they have a destructive argument, give them a scene where they go to therapy.
Yeah, cause that ooh, yeah, that it was mean. They were really harsh, and they just didn't know how to fight with each other.
Yeah.
So, you don't have to pull out all the blades in your quiver and just start stabbing at each other just because 'cause you're arguing. So,
Yeah.
it was not good.
That sounds interesting because I mean, it's not always black and white, and romance
Yeah,
is complex, and so yeah, I like the
yeah.
what I'm hearing here. It sounds very interesting. So, what draws you to write romance particularly?
Well, I started at my first series is a romantic suspense series because I actually grew up as a mystery girl. I read lots and lots of Agatha Christie and Sir Conan Doyle, and I was even reading Perry Mason. It's just if Nancy Drew, the Bobbsey twins. If it was mystery when I was a kid, I was reading it, and my cousins and I actually tried to write our own little kids mystery series when we were like 8.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It was not good.
Right,
It
of
did
course
not go
not.
well. Yeah, it did not go well. Um, so so that was my first foray into writing, and then I came back to it when I was having health issues in the last decade. So I sat down, I started writing a romantic suspense story, and I finished it, and I was happy with it. So that's a series that I'm working on as well. And then I'm in a writer group with other women who write, well, other people actually. There's a guy in there too, uh, that write romance, and I was like, well, I wonder if I could actually write a romance in first person because my romantic suspense is in third person. And they were like, do it, see what happens. So that's how this came about. I started writing it, and I already had the idea for Late Match. And then I realized that I actually really enjoyed it. So it's turned into a series. So,
Cool. Yeah, I like to hear that you're because that is a genre of mine as well, suspense. And whenever it's romantic suspense, that is just like so juicy to me that I don't even think of it just as romance. I kind of think of it more as suspense, and then it's
yeah,
got that element. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, you're a what's the word I'm looking for? Um, I don't know but you write across. It's not just a singular. You're not just like contemporary romance. So you like
Oh,
to
yeah,
weave in.
multi-genre. I'm a
Yeah, yeah.
multi-genre writer. Yes, that's me. Yeah, one day I'm going to actually go back to that uh, childhood dream and write a mystery.
Yes,
One
do
day.
it.
One day.
One day.
Yeah, I'm still a big mystery girl, even though I'm
Yeah.
writing romance. I mean, I love romance, but I am
Mhm.
still a mystery girl.
Yeah, and
So
you can be
I'm
both
going to get,
yeah, you can be all things. There's so many ideas, so many books to write, some little time, but yeah.
yeah, lots of choices.
So, this is a fun question. What's the last book that you read that you absolutely loved?
See, my problem is that I am writing or trying to write so much that I don't read like I should. So
Mhm.
the last book that I absolutely love was any one of the Skyland series by Kennedy Ryan. I have a stack. I mean, I have two more books of hers. I have a book by Natasha Bishop. I have 400 books on my Kindle, and they're all staring at me like,
Mhm.
hey, you need to get it back in here. So I actually started last week writing The Dance by Kimberly Vargas. Uh-oh, I think I'm messing up her name. Um, but I started reading her book last week, and it's been a lot of fun so far.
Mhm.
There's so many books that I want to read, that I need to
Right.
read, that would inform me, but those are the last ones that I truly loved that
Mhm.
I've finished, because there's lots of ones that I've started.
Yeah. But it very much is like it's a trade-off when you're writing. You just like don't really have time to. So yeah, I also go through these periods. It's like a couple months or where I'm not reading anything, and then I have to give my writing a pause and get back into reading. So it's just so precarious, flip-flop.
Yeah. Yeah, I always feel guilty when I give my writing a pause because, I started writing later. So I'm always like, all right, I need to get this story out because I have like three more in this list that I want to get to. So I carry around a lot of guilt.
Yeah. That's okay. I mean, that's why I listen to audiobooks quite a bit because I feel like, I can do that while I'm doing house chores and I'm still like getting some type of reading done.
Yeah. I am trying. I just got a friend of mine's audiobook. And I told her that it's on her to get me into audiobooks because I have tried.
Yeah.
I tend, you know, I mean, I've fallen asleep on audiobook, and it's not because they're boring. I like reading books by hand.
Mhm.
And if I'm doing something else and listening to the book, I tend to drift off, and then I realize that I just missed a couple of pages. I don't know what
Yeah.
just happened. Um, so
I totally get that.
yeah, so I told her, I said, all right, when I sit down and listen to this, you have to save me. You have to get me into this. And she started laughing. She was like, oh, that's a lot of pressure. I said, yes, I'm putting it all on you.
Yeah.
I think it'll be fine, but I might try to do an immersive reading with because I have her book too, so I
Yeah.
might, try to do both at the same time and see how that does. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would love that if I could actually start listening to audiobooks and do it successfully, I would get a lot more done.
Right. Yeah, I've heard of I've yet to do an immersive read, but it's on my list to do.
Yeah.
So, what's next on the horizon for you? Is there anything that you can share with us? Any plans? Be as vague as you want or share as much as you want.
Well, I think that I'm not going to release anything else this year, and I'm going to kind of work on all of the work in progresses because I like to get the 5 story meet your match done and kind of do a rapid release of
Mhm.
the last three next year. And I need to get back to the Chaos Universe, my romantic suspense series. I need to get that finished because I,
Mhm.
I have some other books that aren't in either one of those series that I like to work on.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what I want to do for the rest of the year.
Mhm.
And because I actually just did a challenge yesterday and this past 5 days where we were supposed to write 20,000 words in 5 days. I succeeded. Yay.
Oh, yay.
Um,
That's a big
yeah.
accomplishment. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to kind of incorporate that into getting more of these works in progress done over the next 5.5, 6 months. And then, you know, get them edited and on
Right.
and spend next year kind of marketing and releasing marketing.
Oh,
Bleh.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That's the worst
Yeah.
word, but
Marketing and releasing next year. Um,
yeah.
but yeah. And I have a couple of live events. I'm going to be in New York this weekend at Pages in the City. And I have a couple of events here in Houston coming up. So
Fun.
trying to stay busy.
Yeah, yeah, the live events, I've never done one. I'm doing my first like online book festival in a few days, but
The Fictly, how do you
yeah,
pronounce it? Yeah, I thought about doing that, but I'm gonna be in New York, so
yeah, yeah,
I
you've
couldn't do
already
both. Yeah, I already
exactly.
committed.
And I
Cool,
will
good luck.
thank you. Yeah, hopefully it's the first time they're doing it, so we'll see. um, but you mentioned doing a rapid release next year. I love rapid releases, and I think other people do too whenever it's like a series and you're just like itching for the next one to come out. So
Yeah.
with that being said, you have the entire Meet Your Match series because book 2 just came out and it's of a
Right.
5-book series. Do you have the
Hmm.
other ones? Are they in various stages of being written? Are they just like planned out already and you just have to write
They're
them?
planned out.
Okay.
They're planned out. The book 3, that's what I was doing, that's what I was
The
writing, the
20,000.
20K. Yeah, it's I'll probably have that done the first draft finished in a week or 2 because I have about 80,000 words on it. So it's nearing the end point, and I have the uh outline. Well, I never completely outline, but I have what I call a one-page treatment of what's supposed to happen in the next 2 books. So, yeah, they're kinda mapped out.
Yeah, well, I have all the faith in you that you're gonna get this rapid release done and your readers are gonna just be so happy next year.
Yeah, and then I'd like to go because I always said when I finished the series, I wanted to go back and do a different cover for the whole series. So, and maybe even put some of the art
Oh, that's
in
so much
in
fun.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. So, what is something this is a question that I ask everybody. What is something that brings you joy right now?
Um, Hanging out with my family and traveling. I my husband laughs at me. I don't really like sand and I don't get in the water, but I love going to the beach.
Okay, because I'm about to say pause before we started this because I live in
Yeah.
Hawaii for everybody listening.
Mhm.
We were talking about your love for it. You don't like the sand and you don't like getting in the water, but you love Hawaii. Well,
Yes, I
understand that
do.
though, because it's so tranquil and relaxing just to sit on the beach and hear the
See?
sounds and all that. So
Yeah,
I
see,
get
that's what I like to
it.
do. That's what I
Okay.
like to do. I'll go and I'll sit out, in one of the cabanas or by the pool, and I'll just sit there and watch the ocean and, just relax. I'll have my tablet or a book
Mhm.
and, they'll bring you some food. It's just like,
Yeah.
I could stay here.
Yeah.
This could be good. I could or and get up in the morning and go sit out on the balcony and type, go write, just
Mhm.
listening to the ocean. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I don't have to be in the water for that.
Yeah.
And I have a reason. I am allergic to seafood. So I mean, just getting in the water
Makes you itchy,
probably
right?
won't get me, but if some fish comes and rubs up on me, it may or may not go well. I just
Yeah.
rather not. I'd rather not find out.
You know what? That makes sense. So, where do you have any like big travel destination dreams? Like where do you want to travel since you love doing that so much?
Oh my gosh, I would love to go to more Caribbean islands,
Mhm.
and, um, I would love to go back to Europe. I wanna go back to Italy. We had our big travel so far last summer. My husband and my son went to climb Kilimanjaro first. And then my daughter and I met them, and we went to Kenya, went on safari, went to see some of my husband's family because he's half Kenyan. And then we went to Ghana with a tour group and saw some of the most amazing things. And basically, I think my daughter and I were in Africa for 23 days,
Oh
and
wow.
my son and my husband were there for 30 something. It was a huge trip.
Yeah.
um, I don't necessarily need to do anything quite that huge for a while,
Right.
but yeah, there are places I would like to go see again. I mean, I went to Italy a long time ago. I'd like to go with my husband this time, um, and other places in Europe that I haven't seen yet. And I've only gone to a couple of Caribbean islands. So, like I said, I like the beach. Got other places to visit.
Yeah. Yeah, traveling is special and it's something important to prioritize, I think. Yeah.
I think so too. But you're in Hawaii, so that's kind of
Yeah.
the ultimate travel destination.
Yeah. So, this
Very
is our
cool.
final question.
Okay.
Where can people find you and your books? Like, where are you most active on social media, and where can people buy your books?
I am sadly most active on Instagram, and the algorithm frustrates me, but I'm still there. My handle is at author D.W. Brooks, so it's pretty straightforward. You can find me on Facebook and Threads with the same handle at author D.W. Brooks. I do hang out on TikTok a little bit, not as much, and that's at D.W.Brooks. Tried to keep them as
Hmm.
close as possible. And I also have a website, and that's authordwbrooks.com. I'm just easy.
Yeah.
You can find me. So those are the places you can find me. But like I said, Instagram is where I'm most active. And yeah, usually you'll see a couple of posts with me flapping my lips about something and stuff. So it's all good. It's all in good fun.
Yeah, yeah, I'm the same way. Instagram is my place. And I will put all of these places in the show notes if anybody wants to easily go check you out and check out your books.
Cool. Thank you so very much.
Yeah, of
This
course.
was
Thank you.
fun.
Yeah, thank you for joining me and letting me in on the Meet Your Match universe. And it was great talking to you.
Great talking to you too. Thank you so much, and you take care.
As mentioned, you can check out DW and her books in the links provided in the show notes, and keep on the lookout for her rapid release in 2027 for the rest of the Meet Your Match series. Right now, you can go find book 1 and book 2.